just thought I'd take a short break just to let you know about becoming a Breakout Bestie. So we've launched a brand new subscription service for the small businesses that need us in your pocket. So why do you need to become a Breakout Bestie? Well, it's just a monthly subscription that gives you access to us when you need us. There's a closed group where you can ask us any question you need. There's also an anonymous posting on, so if you've got clients in the same group, you can ask us anything and we'll get back to you. Sometimes that'll be a quick answer, other times it might be that we need a bit more of an in-depth chat. There'll also be posts and information on the latest trends, the latest strategies for social media, upcoming things from HMRC that you may have missed, just anything you need to make your life easier to run your business. You'll also have access to our client base and money off discounts and vouchers for various services we've got coming out. This is brand new, it's only just been launched, so have a look, go on our website under Besties and sign up soon. If you want your spend to head to increase, you want customers to come back to you, you want them to recommend you, that's where it's a whole relationship and bigger conversation, because you've got that recognisable brand that they will come back to time and time again. Hi and welcome to Business Rainbows and Unicorns, where there's no such thing as failure if you don't try. This podcast is specifically for business owners or wannabe business owners. Say you've got a side hustle or you've got a passion for something and you think it'd be absolutely amazing, or you see people that do amazing things with their passions and what they enjoy doing. Well, you can do that. So please subscribe and we hope you enjoy listening to this episode. Hi and welcome to another episode of the Breakout Business Rainbows and Unicorns podcast. Today we're going to talk about all things branding. So what is branding, why branding, how to get branding. So all for your business, why do you need a brand? So I've got Liam from Record and Repurpose today. So he's going to talk us through and help us out with a bit of branding, because Liam's a great example because he's just started up his own business as well. And we're both black and white brands, so it kind of fits.
Good colours. Good colours. We've got a good eye.
Exactly. So what is branding? So it's your USP for your business. It's your identity. It's something you build for trust. So if you think about brands you know and love, so if you take Apple as a classic example, we all know what Apple looks like with the bite taken out of it, but it's understanding that Apple is the brand. So if you're looking for an iPhone, a Mac, an iWatch, the new reality headsets, if you know they are all built with Apple, you know the quality you're going to get, you know how much it's going to be, you know what kind of price point they are, you know what to expect. So once you've built that brand up, especially for yourself, you know exactly, you've set the bar of what your clients know, what they're going to get from you, how they're going to work with you, what kind of person or company you are, and where to go from there, really. One of the biggest things for your branding will be your business name and your logo. You don't want to rush into a logo really when you're starting your business, because you might want to change and evolve it over time. You might decide that you want to change it up. You might not understand branding when you first start out, so you might just choose a pretty picture because it's easy and straightforward, and then you end up that everyone else in your industry has got a very, very similar logo. So you want to make sure it's something that stands out. You also want to make sure the colours represent you and your business. So, as I said, we've both used black and white. One of the reasons why I used black and white was because it makes everything clear, stand out, and I wanted to be seen as transparent and straightforward to the point, rather than being anything fancy that you have to look around for. So, do you know why you chose black and white?
Similar with the standing out, like I've got like, so black and white was kind of the main colours, and then I've got like little bits of red and yellow for like some of the wording, like so if I have my logo on a black background, I'll have the writing in yellow.
Yeah.
So yeah, just to make it kind of pop and catch people's attention is my reason. Didn't go quite as deep with the transparency, but I can understand, and will now steal that for myself.
Yeah, take that one. On ours, you've got a ring round the long Melford. You've got like a coffee cup ring, purely for the co-working side of things, and because 9 times out of 10, if you're a business owner, you tend to get through a lot of coffee, so you kind of resonate with it as well. So, but on top of that, it's not just the logo, it's the language you use, it's the way of working, it's what builds you up as a brand. So if you take coffee as an example, so we discussed before we come on the podcast, Starbucks versus McDonald's coffee. So both really, really well-known brands, both very different logos, but both do coffee. So if you don't know either and someone said, do you want a cup of coffee, where would you go to? You'd go to Starbucks.
Yeah, that's what they do.
That's what they do, that's what they're experts in, that's what they're amazing at. Now, randomly, personally, I don't like Starbucks coffee. I've got a thing with big corporations and big brands, so I always buy local. Plus, you've got, in Sudbury, you've got the Barista Shed, which is one of the best coffee places around. He also roasts his own coffee on site, so it's not something Starbucks do. However, if you're doing Starbucks versus McDonald's, I actually prefer McDonald's coffee. I think they do a really nice coffee. And it's a lower price point. So you hear a lot of people nowadays, when they're talking about how much you can afford, people talk about how many coffees you buy each week. Because that's what a lot of people, if you look at the queues outside the coffee shops just in Sudbury, or how many coffee shops we've got in Sudbury that are surviving, you then have that thing of, well, if I'm going to save money, I can cut out a coffee. But if you look at McDonald's coffee, it's going to be cheaper.
Absolutely. You're still getting a coffee at the end of the day.
Exactly. And it's still a 12-ounce coffee. So it's still the same volume. It's still coffee and whatever dairy choice you have and hot water. However, you know McDonald's value. But how do you know McDonald's value? Because they've chosen yellow and red as their branding. If you go to a branding expert, so we use Lou from Toodle Pip in Sudbury. She's very, very good at branding and logos, and she will do a whole set of marketing material for you. One of the things you look at is the colour wheel. So if you think of value shops where they're not very expensive, or there's a lot of sales on, what colour do you naturally see for sales? Offers.
See the red, don't you? See
red and yellow.
Red and eye-catching. Yeah.
So if you go for a cheap thing even in Waitrose, yellow tickets.
Yellow and red
if
tickets.
You're looking at a sale sign in a shop, it's a red sale sign. Whereas the other end of the scale, so if you think what colours is Starbucks, what colours Waitrose, what colours John Lewis.
Ah, the green colour.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's more natural, it automatically makes you feel like you're getting more value or more quality and value for money. So it's that flip of instantly, if you're looking and starting some branding and a logo for your business, colour is really, really important because instantly, whatever colour you choose, without even thinking about it, your clients will know whether you're expensive or not.
You don't see any healthcare companies with red, for example. No. It's always a blue colour or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I hadn't thought of it like that, but now you've mentioned it. That's that makes
You'll
a lot of
notice
sense.
it now.
Yeah.
I think nowadays inclusivity becomes a part of it. So you will see a lot of companies where they're using lots of different colours. So instantly you see that. And you know that company is going to be fully inclusive or fully welcoming to whoever approaches them or gets in touch for queries, which, again, it's a really important thing to be aware of because people won't naturally go to companies because of past experiences unless they're 100% sure they're going to get a polite, friendly, welcoming experience or a nice, pleasant experience. So it's just to note that you can easily Google this of the colour wheel, but what colours you want to choose to your logo, because those colours will say more rather than just you saying that's my favourite colour.
You've got that subconscious training that businesses have been using for all these years that represent these different things.
Yeah, exactly. So if you think of when you're thinking about doing branding, one of the questions you'll get is what's your ideal client? And you might say, well, it's everyone. Well, I can tell you now, it's not everyone, trust me. I think I've said it on several podcasts now. But it's not just, okay, it's a mum in her 30s. It's a mum in her 30s and she shops at. She spends times at. Her hobbies are how much disposable income does she have? Does she work? Does she not work? Does she drive a car? What car does she drive? Because even if you think about the cars and their branding, for example, you look at those logos, again, green, Land Rover, for example. However, on the flip side of that, you think Porsche and Lamborghini and you think red.
Yeah.
So stand out, big identities, a bit like Coca-Cola, red, big identity. And if you can change the colour of Father Christmas, you're a big brand, quite clearly. So Google Coca-Cola and Father Christmas if you're not sure about that story. It's then also the language they're going to expect. What kind of experience is your customer going to get? So what feel do you want for your brand? So if people are going to get in touch, is it going to be short, sharp, quite quick, quite transactional experience? Or is it you're going to get the customer service, quality of service, more long-term relationships kind of company chat? So it's all to consider on your side when you're looking at that for the brand, because also it then builds up the price point. So before people are even making an inquiry, they've got an idea of whether they can afford your services or not. So if you're very yellow and red, they will think it's more value. If you're similar to, if you look at and go on to fonts, for example, if you look at an Audi and a Lidl font, very block, very clear, they're in capital letters and everyone shouts in capital letters. That's how we know you're shouting. So it's on that side of things. However, if you look at Sainsbury's font, it's a bit more swirly, it's got a couple of bit more dots and it's just a bit thinner and varied. So it's just then already you know just by a font how much you're spending.
Start to get a feel for what it is, everything you're looking at, everything that you're seeing. It's building up that picture of what you're going to be like as a business.
And what clients are going to contact you. Because if they're used to seeing a Sainsbury's font versus an Audi and Lidl font, they're going to naturally be more attracted to those kind of companies.
To the one that suits them.
And what they're used to. So where they spend their money. So this is where font comes into it. And then it comes into, if you get a whole branding pack done as well, of variations of your logo, background colours, we've got a black and white logo, but then we have a white and black logo to flip it, depending on what the background is. But also it's that, will that then build from there, build your website, build your business cards, build your Facebook page, of then almost having a chat around your mission statement. What's your vision? Where do you want the business to go? What are your values? What are your morals? So if you are starting your own business, it does come down to you and all about you and what your values and morals are, because it will naturally fit. Even if you want the business to grow and go to different places and locations, franchises, thinking of almost straight away your 5-year plan of where you want it to go. Because if it's you and your business, it needs to be built off your values and morals, because if it's not, you're instantly going to attract clients that don't have the same values and morals as you. So you're not going to fit very well. You won't work well together. You won't enjoy working well together. So if you can build that brand around you and what you agree with, and then you draw a natural attraction to people who are the same kind of people you would chat to in the street, you do get on well with, so then you get the longer term relationship. On the other side of that, having working in a product business for a number of years as well, we would have retailers contact us. Company name's just a company name. They've got no logo. They want to buy in volume, sell at volume. It's all transactional. They want no relationship with their client. They don't really care about the customer. They literally want to buy something for £1 and sell it for £3. That's all they care about. It's just all solely on price. So then it's that whole marketing conversation of just, what is the brand? So they've not thought about the branding because they just want to buy and sell stuff. That's all they care about. It's all about the money. But at the same time, they have considered the branding because they haven't. So they've not thought about it.
They've made a choice not to pay any attention to that. It's pretty straightforward what they want to do, and they've gone for a pretty straightforward solution.
Yeah. And they've got there's no relationship there. They're not trying to build a relationship. They don't care. They're not bothered. So we would get those inquiries into people, and they, as businesses, they would do as well. And you will come across them on the internet when you're looking to buy stuff. They've probably got offers on. They've got sales on. They just want to buy and sell as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
It all comes down to the money. So then they haven't invested in the branding. They haven't invested in their identity. Their identity will look the same as several other very similar companies. They've just got a template for their website that everyone else is using. There's no trust with them. You will buy, or their customers will buy purely on price as well. You Google him when you go onto the shopping at the top. Okay, that's cheapest. I'll buy from them.
Yeah.
You're probably buying once. You're buying low. You're not going to spend a lot of money with them. It's just that one product and gone.
So, off the basis of that, do you think branding is important to help nurture that relationship, to start building that trust factor?
Yeah. If you want your spend to head to increase, you want customers to come back to you, you want them to recommend you, then 100%. That's where it's a whole relationship and bigger conversation, because you've got that recognisable brand that they will come back to time and time again. So if you think of larger companies that are in a certain industry, the ones that do really, really well have got that. They've got the chat, they've got a certain product or branding awareness. So if you take, for example, if you're talking about baby products, as a parent, if you know you're going to buy a safe product for your child, that's an important brand to you. So when your friends ultimately have children, who are you going to recommend? And you want to be able to say, and this is where the name is very important as well as the logo, because it will be, I recommend such and such. And the minute you recommend them, they almost don't even have to Google it. You know what the company is.
Yeah.
If the name's not recognisable or difficult or not straightforward, you're not going to know where to go. Or you might Google and 10 come up with the same thing, like MXN Limited. It's just not a...
minefield.
It's just not a company. You're not going to find them. So it then goes into the industry of like, yes, you've got a brand. Yes, it's your business. Yes, you want to speak to a mum who's 30, who shops at Waitrose, owns a Volkswagen, has got one child and another child on the way, household income is 50, 60 grand a year. But also, what industry are you in? So if we talk about a baby industry, you want earthy colours, green colours, those natural nature, calming colours, happy yellows, rainbows. So things that are those happy,
safe.
Yeah, all of those
confidence
colours.
Building.
Yeah, because if you think, okay, well, like you said earlier, medically or medical companies use a lot of blues. We saw a baby company and it was all blue. It's quite cold. It's not welcoming. It's not, yes, they might build your trust, but they're going to have to do more to earn your trust.
Yeah.
And you don't really want to associate being a parent with medical queries.
Clinical kind of, you want it to be a warm
and
environment.
Fluffy.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So there's a lot more thinking towards it than perhaps people might assume.
Yeah.
Do you think that the branding is also, it's important for it to be consistent? So when you're thinking about your different social media channels, when you're creating your logo, your website, does it all have to tie in, would you say?
100%. So then they can recognise you wherever you are. So I've worked with a lot of people that they've got a Facebook page and an Instagram. If you can, have your logo as your profile. However, if they're dealing with you, then you want your face on it. So they know who they're going to get and who they're going to recognise from it. If you're a company or a faceless company, then you want your logo so people know who they're following. They're following the right company. And also, when they go to tag you, they know straight away they're tagging the right company. There's nothing worse, and I've done it fairly recently, where I've taken a load of pictures of different companies, gone to share it, and I can't tag them because I don't know if it's actually them or not. So they've not used their logo that I've seen or their products as their profile picture.
So it's not recognisable, so more difficult to associate with.
Yeah. So then you've missed out on a tag and a share, and it sounds quite simple, but it is simple. If you've got that consistency all across, people are going to keep recognising you again and again and again. And the more you're shared, the more people you're out there, people can think, oh, that's Liam, he's everywhere. Oh, yeah, I saw him pop up the other day. Oh, yeah, he was doing this. So then you've built your story and your morals and your values of who you're working with, who you're associated with. So it's this bigger picture. And if it's other people tagging and sharing, it's the work's being done for you.
Yeah.
So I think it's that if you've got the consistency across all, again, going back to Google, if they're Googling you and your Google My Business or your website comes up, straight away, oh, yeah, that's definitely the right person I was talking to. People have got an attention span of a gnat. So if it comes up and it's not clear, they're off. They've moved on. They've just got no loyalty. So you lose the customer loyalty because they can't find you. They don't know where you are. So if they can always find you easier, they'll be loyal to you because they know what experience they're getting, they know what they're paying. So you're repeating the same information again and again and again. So it's the same as going back to what it spoke about in another episode about why you start your own business and what you're investing in to start with. Once you've got going and you've got your business set up, later on you want to invest and pay for the branding. So ask someone like Lou to sit with you because she'll give an outside perspective and she'll help you build that brand up. So once you know what your values are, what your morals are, what you want your business to be, what clients you want to serve, you can then start repeating that and putting it out there. And once it's out there, you keep repeating it again and again, so you get the consistency for it. And that's when people do become loyal. They do go back to you because they know you've built that trust. You're not going anywhere. They know, oh, they're local, or I know where they're based. I've bought from them before. I didn't have any issues. And then they'll keep coming back to you.
So if somebody is brand new to this, do they have to spend a fortune on branding, or is it something that's quite easy to do, or is there like certain bits of guidance and stuff that people should be thinking about taking on board?
I would say, so you can use Canva. It's a graphic designer's worst nightmare, but I know a lot of graphic designers that use it, so pros and cons. It's out there, so you've got to go with it. That helps a lot, and they've got a lot of tools. If you've got the pro version, there's a lot of tools on there that will help build that up. However, I think you're best to have that outside perspective from someone. So you could sit there and think, I really like lilac. I want everything to be lilac.
My favourite
It's really
colour.
pretty, exactly. And I like butterflies, so I'm going to have a lilac butterfly. So as breakout, I might have had, or as recorded with purpose, you could have a lilac butterfly on there. So later down the line, Liam, why have you got a lilac butterfly on your logo? I liked it.
Because it was my favourite.
Exactly. And I see a lot of parents who are just like, why have you got a lilac butterfly? Oh, it's my child's favourite animal.
Yeah.
It's child's favourite colour. Which, if you're growing, it's then not got a lot of, if it's a very personal company and it is very personal to you and it's going to be all about you and stick with you, do you know what? That's absolutely fine. If that's your identity, maybe you've even got purple hair, or there might be something that people relate to that purple butterfly to you. However, this is where it's good to get an outside perspective and know where you want the company to go to. So you can Google colour wheel, you can have a look on, there's loads of resources on Pinterest as well to help you do that. However, I would recommend talking to someone that knows about branding, because if you want to grow your company to have a brand and be recognisable, it's worth the investment. And sitting with a branding company and saying, right, because they will ask you the right questions. Google will never ask you the right questions. Canva will never ask you the right questions. It will suggest lovely, if you've got a lilac butterfly, it will say, how about these other pastel colours or these pastel animals? But it won't ask you the right questions of, well, why do you want a lilac butterfly? Okay, lilac butterflies are great for baby companies. However, you're not a baby company. You're a podcast company and a video recorder. So what relates, because if you're building that into it and people are Googling or you're popping up on social media, because no one's got that attention span, straight away as soon as you appear, it's that, oh, okay,
I get it.
I know what I'm doing. It's like if you see the Golden Arches, I know I can get a burger.
Yeah.
That's what they're known for. I know I can get a Happy Meal.
Exactly right.
Everyone wonders where the clown went, but I'm showing my age now. But it used to be the place for kids' parties. So you would see Ronald McDonald popping up everywhere. You don't so much. It's not known for its kids' parties. It's diversed into the drive-thrus of quick, easy food that people will go back to again and again. But if you can think of what you want to pop up, and if it's a purple butterfly, I've Googled how to create a podcast. A purple butterfly's popped up. That's got nothing. The logo's not an identity of anything to do with
Doesn't have any relation other than it's your favourite.
Yeah.
As such. And I suppose from what you said there, something that I picked up on is Google wants to make you happy and it wants to give you what you're looking for.
Yeah.
So it's good to have that temperature check of somebody else who knows what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
who can give you that solid sound advice that
Yeah.
will help you to create something for a good chunk of time, not just a flash in the pan kind of, this week it's a lilac butterfly, next week it's a blue dragon, whatever.
Yeah. And ultimately, if you're then popping up as a purple butterfly and I've never met you, it doesn't give me the same impression as you as a person and what you do. If, like your logo with the arrows, it's going to be a repeat. It's going to be something technical straight away. So I know I'm in the right place as well. It's that almost, it's going back to the building trust, but also the familiarity of, okay, I've Googled podcasts. He's come up, so he must be an expert or know about it because this is the company name, this is the logo. Whereas if it's something fluffy, it would be, well...
Yeah, it kind of ties
doesn't
in,
fit.
builds that level of trust and
Yeah.
sense of expertise from the beginning rather than somebody seeing that lilac butterfly
Yeah,
and
exactly.
simply going, not sure what that's all about, I'll
No,
find somebody else
exactly.
who looks like they know what they're doing.
Exactly. And you get, there's, it's like if you think of a plumber and gas engineer, you're going to think of water and a blue flame.
Yep,
So it's that,
there's a reason for that.
yeah, exactly that. And it's that straight away, you've already, because we've grown up with so much branding around us, you kind of do have to go with the flow of, see what I did there with the plumbers?
Yeah.
Of what's already there for you and what company's already out there. You will not be able to reinvent the wheel. If you start wanting to do your own McDonald's, there is no point doing something very, very completely different unless your burgers are completely different, your service is completely different, because people just won't. They've built up so many years of trust and consistency of the brand that's what people know where to get burgers from. However, if you've got what's the one, Five Guys for example, very, very different, but they're still burgers. So it's red and white, but it's still a different product. So instantly, all of a sudden, they were absolutely everywhere.
Yeah. Got another question about branding. It's a little bit left field. So you mentioned Five Guys, but I'm going to take it to another burger chain called Wendy's.
Yeah.
Now,
America.
I don't know if you're aware, but Wendy's on social media, and my question is based on the copy that you write, so the actual text that you put on your posts. Wendy's notoriously have a bit of fun with their social media.
Yeah.
And they always bring a bit of comedy. They always kind of call things out. Whereas a lot of the time, I find that corporates often try and stick into the safe zone, speak as a corporate brand. Whereas I think that Wendy's have had a lot of success because they have been a bit cheeky.
Yeah.
They know they're a burger company.
Yeah.
And they're kind of trying to attract that audience that have that same mentality. Like, it's a cool place to come and eat. It's a trendy kind of place. So thinking about that as a business person, obviously you want to give an impression of professionalism.
Yeah.
But like, where do we feel that with branding? Like, is there a line to be conscious of, or is it just down to your personality?
I think it's just that. It's down to your personality. But what you can carry through.
Yeah.
So it's a bit like Aldi and Marks and Spencer's and Colin the Caterpillar.
Yeah.
That's never going to go away now.
No.
And that kind of kick-started Aldi in terms of their cheekiness and their almost poking the bear of how far they're going to go with stuff. And I think if you're a very, very corporate company and you want people to come to you with serious matters, you can't joke about.
Oh, of course not. Yeah.
There's certain things we can do, and my most successful social media posts are ones that have been controversial, but I can't joke too much because then people are like, why am I going to go and ask her about my business if she's just going to joke around and muck about? So if you, depending on your product and service, if you can get your personality across, then definitely go for it because it's going to make you stand. It's going back to your USP. What's your USP? How are you as a person? And bring that through. It's a bit like there's a tattooist, I think they're based in Glasgow, and they post their messages they get and call people out on it, and it's absolutely hilarious of people that you'll get, they'll ask for a price, they tell them price, oh, my mate can do it, so they're like, go on then, and then they end up in an argument with people who then get offended that their messages are shown and used as social media content, even though they're known for using messages. So their content comes from people asking stupid questions, and it's crazy questions. They don't suffer fools gladly. So if you know you're going to go to them about a tattoo and you want a professional tattoo done, they're going to take you seriously. So they've kind of joked, but they've made it so they've proven they know what they're doing.
They're attracting the right people because
they're
see...
basically telling you the customers they don't want. They don't want people that are like, oh, my mate can do it for a tenner. Oh, I can Google or go on eBay and get a tattoo kit. Brilliant, go for your life. If you want to, or if you want to spend a tenner for a tattoo that should cost £100, do you know what? Crack on. Because their work's not going to be valued. So they've clearly got a very good sense of humour, but at the same time, they're very, very, you're going to get a really good professional job with them. So it's knowing what the line is, and it's very difficult locally to do it, and it's very difficult to not get offended by stuff. But if you're if you start off and you're just talking about your work and what you do, it's a bit like if you go down the James Smith route of calling out other people. So on his social media, I can't remember what he says. It's something like chat shit, get banged, or something like that. So if you're posting out, I can get a 6-pack without and always eat burgers or something like that, he will call you out on it. And he's then taking down others. But again, that's some of his most popular videos because he's happily out there putting his knowledge out there. So
confident about his position, and also helping other people out because there is so much noise out there.
Exactly, and finding what should be told, but also having the confidence because he'll get it back. So you can't put it out there and not expect it back. But he will take it. So it's that line of being cheeky, calling people out, how you call people out, and what you're cheeky over. Of what you've just got to remember that you'll get it back, or you'll get people coming back to you or taking the mick out of your company. So what are you comfortable with? I always joke that I'm the crazy blonde one in the village because people will, and Ben will call me legally blonde because I will happily act the fool. It's a bit of imposter syndrome, I guess, but I will not naturally go in and say, Okay, Liam, oh, I see you did a post there the other day. Oh, I wouldn't do that. Maybe you should do that. I have to build up a relationship with someone to be able to help them out and talk about their social media, or they have to come in and ask me. So I will play on that because I know my personality. I do have the brains. I can talk about it and I can hold my own. But it's that line of you then, once I've got that long-term relationship with someone, you can banter with each other and it's fine. The difficulty is when I put that out too much and people immediately think they can banter with me.
Yeah.
But we haven't already got that relationship. So we haven't formed the grounds of that relationship to be able to have that banter.
Yeah.
So it's a very fine line to go down if it's a local smaller company, whereas bigger companies will put that out there.
I suppose because as a local business and as a smaller business compared to the more global one, like the Wendy's that we mentioned and the James Smiths, you're going to have more interaction with people in your everyday, whereas they're more of a logo.
Yeah.
And a bigger company that perhaps won't get that attention. So that's a good bit of advice there actually.
And it just takes for the big companies, and I can't think off the top of my head who's done it. They've done a social media post and they've regretted it quite quickly. It's gone really, really wrong. They think they're being really, and I think Twitter, which is now X, is a classic for that. People have companies have put stuff out, not thinking and not realising, and then gone, okay, that's been taken really, really badly. So we could have a chat here and find something really, really funny out on text without the tone and without the context could then come out very, very rude or very offensive to someone, but you don't mean it like that.
Or they haven't heard the whole conversation, or you've just misjudged where that line is. So,
and I think we get that all the time anyway. I think branding is a whole conversation. It's a whole form of communication. So if you're only getting snippets or little bits of that, and we're more social than we've ever been in our lives. However, if you think back to being social and you seeing what I post on social media, but we haven't had a conversation in ages, so you've got no context and you haven't got the whole picture. You don't know, and I think there's so much we're almost at a miscommunication high of people assuming and filling in the gaps because they see something in text without tone on social media, but they don't have the full conversation. And I think as a smaller business, you need to be really, really aware of that because you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Corporates can take it a bit more and they can do the jokes, do the banter. I mean, unless you're going, and I always say to people, depending on your business, obviously, but if you can stay away from religion, politics, race, anything that once you've put your views and opinions out there, you need to stand by them, then you're just chatting about what you do and your morals and values behind that, that's absolutely fine. But whatever you put out, you have to 100% stand behind. And corporates, obviously, they've got 2 or 3 people signing that off or reading it. And I say to a lot of people, especially once you've got your branding and your socials going out and your language is going out, don't post for the sake of posting. Post when you've got content and you're in the right frame of mind for it. Because it only takes one of us to have a really bad day and you think, oh God, I've got to get a social post out. You put a social post out in the wrong frame of mind, it can be misread really, really easily. Whereas in a corporate world, someone would have scheduled that, they'd read it, they'd have checked it. It's not just one person.
It's going to undermine your brand reputation that you've started to build up just through a misguided or a mistimed piece of content.
So, it's a big, and it should be, branding should be a massive investment to your business, because if you're wanting to grow it and you're wanting to get to where you want to be, the more thought you put and consideration into it, the more you'll be comfortable sharing and shouting about it, and then people see it everywhere, and then that's your brand recognition done.
Excellent.
So, cool. Well, thanks for listening. That's all about branding. If you have any questions or queries, or you're unsure about anything, please drop us a message or get in touch. And please like and subscribe, and as always, share and tag with someone who you think might want to know a bit more about this. And I'll link in the show notes with any information on certain people and companies we've mentioned in this episode, because they'd be really, really good and happy to help you where they can. Thanks for listening to this episode. We really hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please share with a friend who you think needs a bit of help with starting a business, or even their small business which they've already got going. Please like and subscribe to our podcast, which always helps a small business or small podcast like us. And check the show notes. We all have everything in there relating to the episode which you might need, might want to read, and links to anyone we've interviewed and certain subjects we've spoken about. And thanks for listening.